Calm is not a personality trait. Calm is a decision. Calm is a position you take when you understand who you are, why you are here, and where you are going. The world has conditioned people to believe that loudness equals strength, that aggression equals authority, and that emotional reactions prove importance. But the truth is this: the most powerful people in the room are rarely the noisiest. They are the calmest. When you are calm, you are not defeated. You are not unaware. You are not passive. You are simply unshaken. Calmness is the evidence of internal order. It reveals that your inner world is not governed by chaos, pressure, or fear. Anyone can react. Reaction requires no discipline. Reaction is automatic. But calmness requires mastery, and mastery is always a sign of power. A person who cannot control their emotions will always be controlled by circumstances. If situations can disturb you, then situations can dominate you. If people can provoke you, then people can manipulate you. Calmness removes others from the control panel of your life. When you are calm, you decide when to respond, how to respond, and whether a response is even necessary. Understand this principle: power is not the ability to overpower others. Power is the ability to govern yourself. The greatest battles you will ever fight are not external, they are internal. The war between impulse and wisdom, between emotion and purpose, between reaction and restraint. Calmness is the victory of purpose over impulse. Pressure exposes the quality of leadership. When things are easy, everyone looks confident. But when pressure arrives, panic reveals immaturity, and calm reveals authority. A calm person under pressure sends a message without speaking: I am not moved by this. And when you are not moved, you cannot be manipulated. Calmness also protects vision. Vision requires clarity, and clarity cannot survive in emotional noise. When you are emotionally agitated, you make short-term decisions for long-term problems. Calmness slows you down long enough to see accurately. And those who see clearly lead effectively. Do not confuse calmness with weakness. Weakness is the inability to stand. Calmness is the ability to stand without shaking. It takes strength to remain composed when misunderstood. It takes authority to remain silent when accused. It takes maturity to remain calm when provoked. Anyone can explode. Few can remain grounded. Calm is not denial of pain. It is dominion over it. Calm is saying, this situation will not dictate my behavior. Calm is refusing to surrender your peace for temporary satisfaction. Calm is choosing self-command over emotional chaos. In the end, calmness is not just how you survive storms. It is how you outgrow them. When you master calm, you master influence. When you master calm, you master direction. And when you master calm, you step into a higher level of power, one that nothing external can disturb. If you want, I can now expand Keynote 2. Silence is strategic in the same depth and style. Silence is one of those misunderstood disciplines of strength. Many believe silence means weakness, fear, or surrender. But silence, when chosen intentionally, is not absence. It is control. Silence is not the inability to speak. It is the wisdom to know when speaking adds no value. Those who understand purpose do not waste words. They conserve them. Noise is often the language of insecurity. People speak excessively when they feel the need to defend, explain, or validate themselves. But when you know who you are, you don't argue with confusion. You don't compete with ignorance. You don't negotiate with distraction. Silence becomes your shield and your strategy. Every word you speak releases energy. Every sentence reveals position. When you speak too quickly, you expose your emotions before you establish authority. Silence allows you to observe, assess, and discern. It gives you time to understand motives, not just words. Those who rush to speak often miss the truth. Those who remain silent long enough hear what others reveal unintentionally. Silence is not retreat, it is preparation. It is the pause before precision. It is the space where wisdom forms. When you stay silent, You prevent unnecessary conflict. You deny chaos the attention it craves. Many disturbances survive only because they are fed by reaction. Starve them of response and they lose power. There is also dignity in silence. Explaining yourself to people who have already decided to misunderstand you is a waste of purpose. Not every accusation deserves a response. Not every insult requires a reply. Not every opinion merits engagement. Silence protects your energy for what truly matters. Silence places pressure on others. When you do not react, people are forced to confront their own words. They reveal their intentions. They expose their insecurities. Silence shifts the weight of the conversation without effort. It allows others to talk themselves into clarity or into exposure. Understand this: those who control conversation control direction. And sometimes the most powerful way to control a conversation is to say nothing at all. Silence interrupts manipulation. It disarms provocation. It unsettles those who rely on emotional reactions to gain advantage. Silence also aligns you with timing. Words spoken too early can destroy destiny. Ideas revealed prematurely can be attacked before they are ready. Vision must be protected until it matures. Silence guards what is still becoming. It keeps your plans safe from unnecessary opposition. This does not mean you never speak. It means you speak deliberately. When silence has done its work, your words carry weight. They are clear. They are firm. They are respected. Because people know when you speak, it matters. In a world addicted to noise, silence is rare, and rarity creates value. When you master silence, you master restraint. When you master restraint, you master authority. Silence is not passive, it is power held in reserve. And those who know how to hold power without displaying it are the ones truly in control. If you want, I can continue with Keynote 3. Disturbance is a test, not an enemy in the same depth and tone. Disturbance does not come to destroy you, it comes to examine you. Every interruption, every provocation, every unexpected pressure is asking one central question: who is in control, you or your emotions? Life is not trying to break you, life is revealing you. And what is revealed under pressure is what truly governs you. Many people pray for peace but panic when tested. Yet peace that has never been challenged is not peace, it is comfort. Disturbance is the training ground for maturity. It is the environment where emotional discipline is either proven or exposed. You cannot claim mastery in calm conditions alone. Mastery is demonstrated when conditions are unstable. Understand this principle: what disturbs you controls you. If people can disturb you, they can direct you. If situations can shake you, they can shape your decisions. Disturbance is not powerful by itself. It only has the power you give it through reaction. The moment you respond emotionally, you surrender authority. Disturbance often arrives disguised as urgency. It pressures you to act quickly, speak hastily, and decide prematurely. But urgency is not always importance. Many errors in life are not made because of ignorance, but because of haste. Disturbance pushes you to abandon wisdom for speed. Calmness resists that pressure and demands clarity before action. Every disturbance is also a mirror. It reveals areas of insecurity, unresolved fear, and untrained emotions. If criticism disturbs you, there may be an identity issue. If delay disturbs you, there may be an impatience issue. If silence disturbs you, there may be a need for validation. Disturbance exposes what still needs development. Do not fight disturbance emotionally, interpret it strategically. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Disturbance is feedback. It identifies weak foundations. It highlights where growth is required. Mature individuals do not curse disturbance, they use it. There is also timing in disturbance. It often appears just before progress. When you are about to elevate, opposition intensifies. When you are nearing clarity, confusion increases. This is not coincidence. Pressure increases at points of transition. Disturbance is proof that something is shifting. Those who remain calm during disturbance gain authority over the moment. While others panic, you observe. While others react, you analyze. While others speak, you remain still. And in that stillness, wisdom emerges. The calm person under pressure becomes the reference point. Others begin to follow their lead, not because of noise, but because of stability. Disturbance loses power when it fails to produce reaction. It feeds on attention. It survives on emotion. Deny it both, and it collapses. You do not overcome disturbance by force. You overcome it by composure. In the end, disturbance is not your enemy. It is your examination. Pass the test and you gain elevation. Fail it, and the lesson repeats. Remain calm, stay silent, and let nothing disturb you. Not because life is easy, but because you are becoming strong enough to govern it. If you'd like, I can continue with Keynote 4. Emotional discipline precedes leadership. Leadership does not begin with influence over people. It begins with control over self. Before anyone is trusted to guide others, they must first demonstrate the ability to govern their own emotions. Emotional discipline is the unseen qualification for leadership. Titles do not make leaders. Visibility does not make leaders. Authority is earned through consistency of character under pressure. A person who cannot manage their emotions will eventually misuse power. Anger will speak when wisdom should remain silent. Pride will act when patience is required. Fear will retreat when courage is needed. This is why emotional discipline must come before leadership. Without it, leadership becomes dangerous, not only to others, but to the leader themselves. Emotions are powerful, but they are poor masters. They were designed to inform you, not command you. When emotions lead, follows at a distance. But when purpose leads, emotions fall into alignment. Leadership demands that decisions be made from vision, not from feeling. Feelings change, purpose does not. True leaders do not deny emotions, they manage them. They feel anger without being ruled by it. They experience disappointment without becoming defeated. They encounter pressure without surrendering clarity. Emotional discipline is not emotional suppression, it is emotional intelligence guided by purpose. Every leadership environment will test emotional stability. Criticism, misunderstanding, resistance, delay, these are not exceptions, they are guarantees. If criticism can destabilize you, leadership will destroy you. If opposition can provoke you, leadership will expose you. Emotional discipline is the shock absorber that allows leaders to move forward without being damaged by turbulence. Observe this principle. People trust stability. Followers are drawn to leaders who remain consistent in chaos. When a leader panics, everyone panics. When a leader reacts emotionally, confusion spreads. But when a leader remains calm, clarity becomes contagious. Emotional discipline creates psychological safety. People feel secure under leadership that is not impulsive. Leadership also requires restraint. Not everything a leader feels should be expressed. Not every thought deserves a platform. Maturity is knowing what to withhold, not just what to release. Emotional discipline filters expression. It ensures that words build, not damage, that actions align, not contradict. Another reality of leadership is isolation. Leaders often carry weight others do not see. They hear criticism others never hear. They make decisions others never have to make. Without emotional discipline, this isolation produces bitterness. With discipline, it produces strength. Leaders learn to process internally what they cannot express publicly. Leadership is tested most when outcomes are delayed. Vision often demands patience. Progress is not always immediate. Emotional discipline sustains leaders in seasons where results are invisible. Those who lack discipline abandon vision prematurely. Those who possess it remain steady until manifestation appears. In the end, emotional discipline is not optional for leadership. It is foundational. Before you command direction, you must command your reactions. Before you influence people, you must influence your inner world. Leadership does not amplify who you pretend to be. It exposes who you truly are. Remain calm. Stay silent when necessary. Govern your emotions. Because when emotional discipline is established, leadership follows naturally, and nothing external can disturb your authority. If you want, I can proceed with Keynote 5. Inner stability creates outer authority. Authority does not begin on the outside. It is born on the inside. Before people respect your words, they sense your stability. Before they follow your direction, they observe your composure. Outer authority is merely the reflection of inner order. When your inner world is stable, your outer world responds accordingly. Many seek authority through position, volume, or force. But true authority is never announced. It is recognized. It is felt. It enters a room before words are spoken. That presence is not confidence rooted in ego. It is confidence rooted in self-governance. A person who is not shaken internally cannot be easily challenged externally. Inner stability means your identity is settled. You are not confused about who you are or what you stand for. When identity is clear, opinions lose power. Criticism loses control. Praise loses the ability to inflate. Stability anchors you so that external fluctuations do an OT determine your internal condition. Instability creates noise. A person who is internally unstable must constantly defend themselves, explain themselves, and prove themselves. But stability produces restraint. You do not argue with every challenge. You do not respond to every comment. You do not react to every provocation. Your silence communicates confidence because your foundation is secure. Authority is also connected to predictability of character. People trust what is consistent. When your emotions are unstable, people walk carefully around you. When your responses are unpredictable, trust erodes. But when your behavior is steady, even in difficulty, people feel safe. Stability creates credibility. Credibility creates authority. Inner stability also sharpens discernment. When you are emotionally balanced, you see clearly. You are not rushed by fear or pressured by urgency. You can distinguish between what is important and what is merely loud. Authority grows when decisions are accurate, not just quick. There is also restraint in authority. Stable people do not need to dominate. They do not intimidate. They do not manipulate. Their authority does not come from control, but from confidence. They influence without forcing. They lead without shouting. They correct without humiliating. This is the power of inner stability. Instability, on the other hand, invites interference. When people sense insecurity, they test boundaries. When they sense emotional weakness, they push lead. But when stability is evident, interference decreases. People respect what is firm. They honor what is grounded. Inner stability is developed, not inherited. It is built through discipline, reflection, and repeated choices to remain calm under pressure. Each time you refuse to react emotionally, you strengthen your foundation. Each time you remain silent instead of impulsive, you reinforce your authority. Outer authority cannot exceed inner mastery. You can only lead others as far as you have led yourself. When your inner world is aligned, your outer influence expands naturally. You do not chase authority. It comes to you. Remain calm, not to appear strong, but because you are anchored. Stay silent, not because you are afraid, but because you are secure. Let nothing disturb you, because disturbance no longer has access to your foundation. Inner stability creates outer authority, and that authority speaks without effort. You're ready, I can conclude with Keynote 6. The reward of composure is long-term dominion, and then merge all keynotes into one complete motivational speech. Composure is not rewarded immediately, but it is always rewarded eventually. In a world addicted to instant reaction, those who choose calm often appear to be losing in the moment. They do not defend themselves quickly. They do not retaliate loudly. They do not rush to prove a point. But what looks like delay is actually investment. Composure trades short-term satisfaction for long-term dominion. D. A minion is the ability to rule without force. It is influence that does not depend on volume, position, or aggression. Dominion grows quietly. It develops in those who refuse to surrender control of themselves, even when provoked. While others burn energy reacting, the composed person conserves strength, clarity, and direction. Every reaction costs you something: peace, credibility, focus, or influence. Composure preserves all four. When you remain calm, you keep your clarity. When you stay silent, you protect your credibility. When you let nothing disturb you, you preserve your focus. Over time, these preserved resources compound into authority. Composure also outlasts conflict. Arguments fade, accusations expire, noise passes, but character remains. People may forget what was said, but they remember how you carried yourself. They remember who panicked and who stood firm. They remember who reacted and who remained steady. In the end, composure becomes your testimony. Long-term dominion belongs to those who understand timing. They know that not every moment requires engagement. They wait until conditions align. They speak when words will build, not when emotions demand release. Timing multiplies impact. A word spoken in the right season outweighs 1,000 spoken in haste. Composure also attracts trust. People entrust responsibility to those who are unshaken. They promote those who are reliable under pressure. They follow those who remain clear when situations become complex. Over time, composure positions you for greater influence without you asking for it. There is also freedom in composure. When nothing disturbs you, nothing controls you. Are no longer a prisoner of moods, opinions, or circumstances. You operate from choice, not compulsion. That freedom is the essence of dominion. Dominion does not mean absence of challenge. It means presence of control. Challenges will come, but they will not own you. Opposition will arise, but it will not move you. Delay will test you, but it will not define you. Composure keeps you aligned with purpose regardless of external conditions. People win arguments and lose futures. Others lose arguments and gain authority. The difference is composure. Those who remain calm and silent when provoked often rise when others fall. Not because they fought harder, but because they endured wisely. In the end, being calm, staying silent, and letting nothing disturb you is worth it. It builds a foundation that time cannot shake. It creates influence that noise cannot replace. It produces dominion that reactions can never achieve. Remain calm, not for applause, but for alignment. Stay silent, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Let nothing disturb you because you are being prepared for something greater than the moment. The result of this speech is inner transformation that leads to outer authority. It reshapes how the listener understands power, replacing reaction with restraint, noise with wisdom, and emotional impeal. SC with purposeful control. After hearing this message, the listener no longer sees calm as weakness, silence as fear, or composure as loss. Instead, they recognize these disciplines as strategic advantages. They learn that emotional mastery is not optional. It is foundational for influence, leadership, and long-term success. This speech produces emotional awareness. The listener begins to identify what disturbs them, understanding that disturbance reveals areas needing growth. Rather than blaming people or situations, they take responsibility for their internal world. This shift alone elevates maturity. It also produces behavioral change. Instead of reacting immediately, the listener pauses. Instead of defending unnecessarily, they observe. Instead of speaking from emotion, they speak from clarity or choose silence. Their responses become intentional, measured, and aligned with purpose. The speech builds mental resilience. Pressure no longer triggers panic. Criticism no longer destabilizes identity. Delays no longer create frustration. The listener learns to remain steady in unstable environments, making them a reference point for others in times of uncertainty. Another result is increased credibility and respect. People begin to trust the listener more, not because they speak more, but because when they do speak, it carries weight. Their consistency under pressure attracts responsibility, influence, and leadership opportunities. Naturally, the speech also creates long-term POS, positioning. While others exhaust themselves through emotional reactions, the listener conserves energy, focus, and vision. Over time, this discipline compounds into authority, clarity, and dominion. They rise not through force, but through stability. Ultimately, the result of this speech is a person who is no longer controlled by circumstances, opinions, or emotions. They are calm without being passive, silent without being weak, and unshaken without being detached. They operate from purpose, not impulse.